That's the guy from the Burleigh Arms, the mastermind behind the Burleigh Arms. Hello.
Wow, finally. I don't know about the guest of honor, but it's like divine forces have conspired against this union, Simon.
I know, right? From the very day that I started this event, we've had nothing but problems. 2 weeks ago, it's been problem after problem on Facebook. But the minute we get onto Instagram, ta-da!
Boom,
How
yo.
about that?
You see, I always told you. First of all, I know that the odd thing is that, I know that, the community lives perpetually through Facebook, right? But man, I always know Instagram owns my heart, yo, forever. I am so
I
loyal to
know.
IG, man. So loyal to IG. We don't
It's
have
the
these
fun app as
problems on
well.
Facebook.
No,
That's it.
absolutely. I've had it up to here with Facebook. I think I'm pretty much done with it in terms of arranging live events because that was painful. And just when we thought we'd got it all done, it just was that 20 minutes, was it, of just wasting time there. So yeah,
Man.
hopefully that won't cut our evening short. But
No
yeah, thank
worries, no
you.
worries. Hey, my pleasure,
Right.
man. My pleasure.
Yeah. So right. Anyway, look, it looks like a lot of people are joining now. Anyway, we've got a lot of people. So hello to us. So I've got a lot of familiar people I can see popping up on my screen now. So hopefully there's some of the people that have come over from Facebook as well. But so the purpose of tonight is the Cambridge Foodies first ever live event. You're making history tonight, and
Boom,
we're
boom, boom, boom,
starting.
boom.
That's right. And the whole purpose of this live event is to kind of have people be able to interact with the big names and faces on the Cambridgeshire food scene. And that includes you, Kareem. Yeah, the guy behind the Burleigh Yard. So hopefully there's going to be one of many more events coming up in the future, depending on how Facebook acts, of course. But we're going to be doing this kind of hopefully monthly, if not a little bit more. So expect more people, more chefs, more restaurant owners, whatever you want to see. Just let me know in the comments if there's any particular person or character on the Cambridge food scene that you want to speak to, ask questions, then yeah, just let us know and we'll see what we can do. But tonight we've got Kareem Roberts. So a lot of people already know who you are. Obviously a lot of your followers are probably on here now. A lot of my followers know who you are because I'm always shouting about you, singing and dancing about your cuisine, the Burleigh Arms, Trinity. Yeah, you're a familiar guy on the Cambridge Foodies Facebook group as well, aren't you? You're not just a chef that we talk about and review. You're actually a guy that contributes to the group with your own reviews as well, aren't you?
I'm a part of the community, man. An upstanding
You're one of us.
citizen, man. Just doing my part, man. So that's the thing, Simon. Like I said to you, and I always want to make sure people understand. Yo, I am a fan of food culture first and foremost. Besides being a chef, man, I love, before ever figuring out how to cook, I figured out how to eat. And that's
Yeah,
where I belong first and foremost in Cambridge Foodies. It's a group of people from the area that just love eating.
yeah, that's what we're all about. And I love eating too. I've been doing it all my life. So it's something we're all good at. But yeah, the Cambridge Foodies, it's just gone from strength to strength. And I think being able to interact with people like yourself who make the Cambridge food scene what it is absolutely essential to that. Just for those people that are kind of watching now who might not know who you are or might have heard your name in the Cambridge Foodies group or heard your name dotted around, can you just tell people a little bit about yourself, just like a soft intro, just about who you are, a bit about you?
Well, I guess the shortest answer is, I'm a non-traditional culinary student. I'm always learning, and on occasion, I try things out. That's the easiest way to reduce my job and existence into a sentence. Because if I just was to say, "Oh, I'm a chef," that really does a disservice to a lot of more technically proficient chefs than me. That's the thing. I probably have more in common with the members of the Cambridge Foodies community in the
Yeah,
group than I do with a lot of chefs, man. Yeah, which
yeah,
is cool, because something, much like the group, I hold chefs in a certain degree of reverence. As you can see, man, I'm surrounded by their books. I'm a fan. I love what they do. I'm inspired, and that's the thing. To define me as respectfully as possible, I'm just a guy who loves to cook and eat, man, and occasionally I get paid to do it.
And that's the dream, isn't it? Getting paid to do what you love. You know, that is the ultimate goal in a way, isn't it?
That's what the mantra says, man. The actual act of it is a different experience, man. The graft is real.
Yeah, it depends on your attitude as well. Because if I do things that I enjoy for a living, like, sometimes it ends up ruining it for me somewhat. Do you not ever find that? Sometimes you feel like, oh, I love cooking, but when you have to do it every day, that sometimes takes the joy out of it. Or do you spring out of bed every morning looking forward to cooking?
So I'm going to answer that question as honestly as possible. I look forward to cooking every day. Whether or not I look forward to cooking as a part of a system is a different answer. I believe that the best way for me to cook is from a position of pure creativity and curiosity. At my best, I'm not necessarily cooking to be critiqued, consumed, or to be transferred, or to be a part of a transaction. I don't want to cook and then you pay me. I want to cook and then we experience together. So in a perfect world, I would cook and maybe just for one or two very, very, very open-minded individuals that really want to challenge the status quo, because for one, I still think there's a lot more interesting things to cook that are not going to be acceptable in a restaurant or in a contemporary dining capacity, if that makes sense. Lamb liver, I would love to turn that into a cereal. Like, what would that be like? What would it be like if I was to somehow make a lamb liver cereal? You know, and why would I have to? I don't know, because I do believe that we have. No, seriously, these are the questions. No, you're joking, yo. So it's little things.
No, I was laughing because I was thinking that it's crazy enough to work, and if anyone could pull it off, it'd be you. If you come up to me and offered that to me at the Burleigh Arms, I'd trust you. I'd go for it.
Okay, but look at it this way, right? It's like, so you take, for example, lamb liver, high in iron. It makes more sense to have it at breakfast. And you think about a chicken liver pate, that's really high in the same properties. It's a bit, it's strong on the palate, really, really gamey notes, and it's balanced out by sweetness. Now, why can't you balance that sweetness out with the right kind of grain and then cerealize it? This is literally just me randomly picking lamb liver. But if I was in the capacity where I didn't have, like another pandemic, where I just got lamb liver, milk, and oats in the fridge and sugar, you know what I'm saying? Then I could try it out. And the thing is this.
Experimentation.
It's the best. It's the best. It's the best. And I saw Kate Mitchell ask a question: who is my favorite Cambridge chef? Now, I'll be honest with you, right? And I got a lot of respect for a lot of chefs in Cambridge. A lot of respect for a lot of chefs. Yeah. And we can go down that list. You know, I can't. If I really have to acknowledge Sam Carter. I really have to acknowledge Mark Poynton. I have to acknowledge Steve Thompson, the foraging chef, yo, it's tough to imagine one of them, and this is no slate to anyone, but Daniel Clifford, man, best food I've ever seen in my life came out of Midsummer House.
Yeah, and that's actually a place that you worked at yourself, you know.
Work is a loose term. Whoa. Work is a loose term. I was there for 3 weeks. When I moved to the UK. It was the hardest 3 weeks of my life. Oh my God. Yo, that was tough, yo. That was such a culture shock. Yeah. That was an experience shock. I was not ready for that. However, the things that I saw there, the things that I saw in that kitchen 15 years ago still imprint so definitively on my memory and experience that I still compare things that I see in a professional environment to what I saw there, and a lot of times they just don't measure up, man. The precision, the quality, the consistency.
You know, going back to your roots in Antigua, coming over to the UK, and then all of a sudden working in a place that's almost military in its organisation with cooking, like Midsummer House, that must have been one hell of a culture shock for you to kind of go from that to that. Like, how did you handle that?
I didn't. It was madness, yo. What are you talking about? I didn't handle it very well. First of all, I wasn't prepared for just how physically demanding it would have been. Because, okay, so it's one thing to work a 12-hour day or a 14-hour day, right? But it was the concentration, the stress, and the pressure. And it was to that point where you go home, and in order to unwind, you need like more time than you have. So you're going to bed wired and knackered, to the point where, and I remember the most visceral part of my experience there was on multiple occasions, I would get home, get in bed, and I would start dreaming, and I can't even call them dreams. I would have this recurring nightmare that I was awake at work complaining about how tired I am. Imagine having that as a dream, yo. Like, what is this, yo? What that? What ring of hell is this, yo? What ring of hell is this? That was tough. That was tough. That was tough.
So I've just had a question here from Library of Natalie, and she asked, restaurant we don't have yet in Cambridge that you'd love to see.
I still think Cambridge needs a really good modern Latin restaurant. I think it doesn't exist, and that would do really well. And when I say Latin, pick somewhere. It could be Peruvian, it could be Mexican, it could be Argentinian. I don't think there's enough fair representation for that that paradigm of dining as yet. Because I like to say, when you look at food tourism and regions of the world that have really come to essence and age within the last 2 to 3 decades, man, yo, South America has blown up, man.
Lima's a real big one, isn't
Lima is it's like the Mecca. Once upon a time, you used to want to, once upon a time, you wanted to, go eat bolognese in Rome, or you wanted to go have sushi in Japan, or I don't know, you wanted to go try the lamb mince madras lasagna at Burleigh Arms. Now everyone wants to go get to everyone wants to see how I did there. You see what I did there?
Very
but
clever.
no, seriously, one of the things now, it's eating tacos, and not even just tacos. It could be eating it could be eating carne asada in Mexico, or you want to go to Peru to experience like the food culture and the diversity. You want to go to try arepas in Colombia or Venezuela for that matter. And it's like, when you look at the San Pellegrino's world's 50 best restaurants list, which is, and I know Michelin accolades do not equate to relevance. However, they help guide. They guide attention and steer the revenue.
There's something to it.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. I don't think they should define you, but they do support you. I do think that attention goes a long way. And when you look at what's been going on in South America for the past 20 years, it's nothing short of incredible, man. Nothing short of incredible. It's like, okay, so when you look at European food, right? Europe has a very well-defined dining culture and bespoke regional culture as well. Like the food in Scandinavia definitely had a massive impact on the way we cooked in the industry here in Britain in the past decade. Everyone was fermenting, everyone was pickling, everyone was doing these little things, it had its influence. And before that, you had the influence from Spain. Everyone was cooking like Ferran Adria or one of his disciples. We haven't really, although I can't say that we haven't really embraced Italian dishes as much, when that's false. Everyone has a pasta on their menu or a risotto, arancini. So you see that influence slowly, and now you see the Japanese ingredients, and I still don't think you see enough of that Latin influence being incorporated into modern European cooking. But I do think that's on the horizon.
It's hard to break, though, haven't we? We've seen a few Latin restaurants in Cambridge try to do well, and they just haven't. And I wonder, you might know this better than anyone, but have they done it wrong? Is that why they failed? Did they not quite capture the essence of South American cuisine, or is it just because we're not ready for it over here?
Okay, that's a great question. I wouldn't say they haven't done it well, because for one, I like Nana Mexico. It's cool. I like tortilla, which is not It's not as personal. It's a bit of a chain, if I understand. But I like the product as well. Chains are good sometimes as well. I have no problem with chains. Not everything can be an indie. There was the Emperor on going towards
Oh,
the
that's at
train
Regent
station.
Street. Yeah.
That's Regent Street. That was pretty cool when I went there a few years ago. Cuba Libre. I think that was a great concept.
Yes.
I think that was a great concept. It just wasn't necessarily, I think the location was wrong. And that's the thing. So it's difficult in Cambridge to operate sustainably because
So
the
expensive.
the business model for a restaurant is just not tailored to high rent locations without the right amount of traffic. It's just too
Yeah.
tough. It's just too tough. You'll never
Yeah.
get, and that's the truth. Cambridge's economy is supported by a demographic that is perceived to be affluent, and it is, but it's also a lot of students who are the opposite of affluent, and they're not looking for that bespoke dining experience. So when you look at the ideal customer profile for who a restaurateur would be targeting, it's definitely not that student demographic. I mean, sure, they'll do
Yeah, you
great
seem
at,
to get two types, don't you? You get the ones that kind of seem to target the high end and ones that target kind of like student deals, and there doesn't seem to be much in between. And it just doesn't seem, there's a big gap, isn't there?
it's also, I don't think you have the volume of patrons to uphold that specific niche. Yes, depending, and Mill Road has done well for creating that form of destination environment, or that hyper local destination area. Like if you want to get in,
Yeah.
you want to get in on Mill Road. Definitely not city center, and that's sad to say that I can't think of many really good independent restaurants in the city center, but Chesterton Road's doing really well.
Yeah,
I do.
Chesterton Road is booming. Yeah.
I see that becoming like a little supplementary supplement to Mill Road, and I often found it like, I'll take it for it is Burleigh Arm, just so much stuck right in the middle of the two, So, but location will always determine or contribute to your success or failure in some capacity. And some people have figured it out. Some people are figuring it out. But I love the fact that we are we're relentless, man. We're conditioned to adapt to whatever obstacles may be thrown in front of us.
Yeah, I've seen you around when I've been out dining here and there. Sometimes when I was in, I think it was at the Cherry Pit and places like that, you've popped up, getting your cherry pie, missing your American pie. But where do you like going yourself when you go out for dinner? Where does a man that spends his whole time cooking for other people go to when he wants to have a meal out? What restaurants are your kind of hand-picked favourite or regulars?
Well, to be honest, and I'm not going to name the places, but I love the places that I might either, get inspiration or norovirus. I might walk away with food poisoning or the best meal of my life. I eat at the grimiest places, I eat at the grimiest places, and I forgive them. Some of my favorite places have gotten 1-star EHO ratings, man.
I know exactly what you mean. I've been exploring what I call these shayo spots, which are like small, tiny little Asian restaurants that are catered for the students, and they have no internet presence. They never answer their phone. They're the size of a living room, and you go in there.
They don't take credit card. No credit card payments.
Yeah, that's right.
No credit cards.
They even have snipers at the top of the restaurant trying to shoot you as you get in. They just,
man.
And you get some of the most authentic, proper Chinese or Asian cuisine you'll ever find.
The best mapo tofu you'll ever have in your life, man. So I like those places, but also, and what I am saying is, hey, because somewhere has a bad EHO score for whatever reason, I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that I will not support them. Personally, I am not advising anyone to be like me, guys. Me. I am no role model, man. I'm just trying to advocate and support for an open-minded approach. Having said that, and so I love, and it's crazy, but I love most Asian restaurants in Cambridge. Like, I'll give all of them a shot.
Yeah.
And when I say Asian, I mean all Asia. Thai. We don't have any Indonesian, but oh man, definitely Indian restaurants. Definitely you know, Japanese restaurants, obviously, and Chinese restaurants. I'm in all of them. I'm in all of them. Recently, one of the ones that I've patronized a couple of times is I quite like Kim Chili. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I was there only a couple of weeks ago. I absolutely loved it. And they love a good drink in there as well. Like they do this kind of stuff where they spray the beer into the glass. I loved all that. That was great fun. So you can have a drink and a bit of something to eat, and it's a great lively night. It was a great restaurant. Full of life it was.
Yeah, I quite like that. But honestly, like I said, and it's unfortunate that I think, and that's because, and we could do better. I don't know if the community is appealing for it, if the demand is there, but I think we need a lot more affordable fine dining restaurants in Cambridge, man. And I know that's almost like an oxymoronic request, but you have so many of them in London. Like in London, it's doable to go catch a 2 or 3 rosette meal. Just within an arm's reach, you know. We don't have many of them. We have very few.
Actually, you're going to shoot me down for this. I know you are, because I think we've already talked about this in the past, and you've done exactly that. But one of the main appeals of your cooking, I've always seen, is that your food is very affordable for the quality you get. Now, I've always considered your food to be just on that kind of fine dining level, but you don't seem to think so. I know, but I always seem to think that the best thing about your cooking is just the quality to the cost ratio. I honestly see it as fine dining. It's almost there, but I've said that in the past, and you've gone no, and you've said no, Simon, it's not. But
you know, and I'll speak to that. One thing is this: like I said, I understand that where we are and when we are in the equation, in the existence of operating a restaurant, we have to be affordable. We have to be accessible. Yes. And I see that. I don't think, and sure, I highlight people who have a much higher price point and they have more visibility or maybe more traffic. However, what happens in those instances is they've earned that. They've built that reputation. They've existed for long enough and they've gradually crept up. Me personally, my food has to be an extension of who I am. And unfortunately, and this isn't performative, I'm very generous. Like if any one of you guys ever were to walk by the Burleigh Arms and you said, hey, look, chef, let me taste something. I'll let you taste something, man. You know, I might take it out my pocket, and you know, you didn't say I had to cook it for you. I'll take something out my pocket.
It'll still be better than what I can do.
But this is it. This is it. I want to share, and I want you to experience, because as a part of being in the hospitality industry, one thing is and as chefs, I assume that we can all cook. As a chef, I assume that we can all cook. What we don't all do well enough is connect. That's what I do, man. I connect. It's very important for me to connect with whoever I'm engaging with on any level.
I get that from you, actually, from the very start when we first met back at Trinity. Every time I've dined with you ever since, you know, when I've been eating my food, you've come out and you've talked to me, but you haven't just talked to me like a lot of chefs will sometimes do. You start asking me philosophical questions about the universe and my opinions.
I want to talk, yo.
But you do. You want to connect. You want to understand the person that you're, you know, serving the food to. Essentially, you want that connection. And you were saying earlier about how food is about and dining is about experience. A lot of the time, I've left the restaurant after dining with you, and I'm sat there contemplating the universe, and I'm going, "Oh, what did he mean by that?" And
you know what it is as well, because and you're very you're in tune. You vibrate at a frequency and a level that resonates with me. Like, look, I see you're surrounded by books as well, man. So we're passionate about knowledge, and I think that that's one of the things that's essential for me, because, and that's the thing about me when I cook, right? I want you to learn, first of all. That's why I make sure that my menus are not exactly conventional, but they tether on that cusp of familiarity, just spilling over into the creative field, but not without being too disconnected from your perception of what food is. And I find that I've been to restaurants where I see it and I'm like, wow, I don't even recognize what this is. You got to tell me what this is before I eat it. So they appeal intrinsically to your curiosity. First thing I want you to do when you see my food is I want you to say, wow, this is beautiful. I do exist with that capacity for ego to want to create something beautiful. But then that's not the only sense that I want to excite. I need you to smell it. I want it to encourage you to, it needs to induce your crave factor. I want you to feel hungry when you look at my food. And that's what happens with a lot of beautiful food. You look at it and it doesn't make you feel hungry.
The first bite is with the eye, and you know your Instagram page is full of colourful food, so vibrant, and the photos are excellent. They really are, and they make me hungry all the time.
Well, so that's one thing. Okay, so and I'll tell you the truth, right? I cannot draw a circle. However, as a kid, I was always drawn to art, especially in the form of comic books. We may have touched on this earlier, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can hardly draw a straight line. I suck at drawing. But if I was artistically inclined to be able to like even like capture or to express myself with a pencil and a sheet of paper, I probably wouldn't have been a chef. I would have probably tried to go into comic book artistry. I am
Yeah.
that passionate about that field and expression. It's an art form. And that's, I guess, at the core, I do identify as a creative of sorts.
Yes, I think cooking is creative, isn't it?
It is, but it's also rigid. It's a very rigid form
Yeah.
of creativity. There are laws of
A
physics
science,
there
almost.
are laws you have to respect, and you
Yeah.
can break them, and I love the fact of breaking them, but I would rather expand upon the established laws than to create new ones, which is why when you see someone like a Heston Blumenthal, or you get someone like an Adriani Ruiz, or one of these avant-garde molecular gastronomists who changed the paradigm of what dining is, I am very okay with accepting that I will not be what they are. However, I'm confident enough to understand and to appreciate where I fit in and what I contribute, and maybe I'll do something else that maybe not necessarily will never register to them, but it will register to someone, and that's all. We're all a part of an existential fiber that we all contribute to. We all got to pour water into the well, at least, or we just got to make sure that we pour more than we remove.
I can just see by the way you're talking, like where your passion, you know, it's all flowing out. I can see all the creativity just kind of coming out of you as you're talking. I mean, it just explains why your food is so beautiful and so vibrant, and you know why your photos on Instagram are just so stunning as well. And no wonder you've got so many followers. They actually remind me of some photos I saw in a book the other day. Actually, they look
Oh man, let's see that one there,
quite
yo.
similar to this book.
That's
A little
beautiful,
product
man. That's
placement.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. You know something?
but
I got copy right here too, man. I got copy.
the book. It's a
Yeah,
good
it is.
book, yes. But what I noticed about your new book is actually how good the photographs are in it. The photography is absolutely beautiful and very similar to your Instagram page. And I wonder, who's the photographer behind this book? Is it someone we know?
Well, so I must say, right, as talented as I would like to say I am, I did not take the pictures of myself.
You did not? Oh my
No,
God, I'm
man,
so sure that you were.
I wish. However, all the food photography myself, and I'm very proud of that, man. I am so proud of that. And there was the opportunity for the publisher to subsidize a photographer for me, but I thought that it would have meant so much for me to not to make sure that my first book, and any book that I write, it needs to be what I see. And that's the thing. That's the only thing that makes me qualified to, or even proficient at my style of food photography, is because I have a really good eye for what food, the beautiful aspect of food. I can see it. I believe that there's a beautiful picture of every dish out there. Even, I don't care who cooks their dish, man, or whatever. You can find the angle of it that's beautiful.
Yeah,
You can
I agree with
find it.
that. Yeah.
You can find it. You can find it. I don't think you have conditioned yourself to find it consistently enough to know where it exists in every room, because sometimes, like, I've taken bad pictures of food and then I move the plate to another side of the room and it's a good picture of food. The dish
Yep.
doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's the perspective. So I
Yeah.
understand the perspective. So it's like sometimes people say that, hey, look, Kareem, I can tell your dish if I'm scrolling down my feed, and I'm not so sure if they can tell my dish based on the elements, or if they can tell my dish based on the composition of the photograph itself, being the distance, the angle, the lighting. The lighting goes very far. The lighting goes very
Yeah,
far. I
lighting
mean,
is everything. I mean, as someone who uses a camera phone a lot of the time for their blog, I mean, my photos aren't artwork, but one thing I've learned is that lighting is almost everything, especially when you've got a kind of low-end camera. You know, it makes such a big difference to have that lighting, and an angle can change absolutely everything. You know, it's just really, it's like your good side and your bad side. Just catch someone at the right angle, and it really makes a difference. You know, it really does.
and I see that someone disagreed with the presentation. The presentation helps, but let me tell you why perspective is more important than the presentation.
Mm.
I've seen people take pictures of rocks and they're stunning.
Yeah.
If I go take a picture of a rock, it's going to look like a picture of a rock. Yet still, if a real photographer takes a picture of the rock, they'll understand the angle that the rock looks the best
Yeah.
from, the lighting, what complements the rock. It's like I tell people, I've seen people take pictures of trees and they're breathtaking. It's like street photography. I don't see the street the same way a street photographer does, but much in the same
Yeah.
way, I see food very differently. Like, I genuinely believe that food is beautiful. I don't think rocks are beautiful. They're cool. I mean, I like them. They're all right. They don't bother me.
Lots of rock.
I mean, we live on one. We live on one. So I've got a lot of respect for rocks, especially speaking about, like, you know, hey, Earth is cool. I ain't got no problem with Earth. This is a rock, but I like things, and that's the thing. My connection is to food. But Simon, what's your connection to food? How did you get so interested in it?
That's a really good question. God, you caught me there. So the Cambridge Foodies has been going for about 4 years, but it started off as a curry page about 17 years ago. And me, yeah, 17 years. Yeah, I've been doing this a long old time. Before it become all social media, Instagram was even around, I think. And me and my friend just went into a Chinese restaurant behind the pub that used to be called the Man on the Moon. I think it's called the Blue Moon now. And we went in there as a joke, just to review it as like a laugh. And we were just making stupid comments and being really idiotic, frankly. And then all of a sudden I caught this bug and just ended up like getting really kind of into it. And the next thing I went into next time I went to a restaurant, I started taking it more seriously each time. And then it just got more and more obsessive. And next thing you know, I'm ticking every box in Cambridge, trying to visit every Indian and Bangladeshi restaurant I can. And it just become what you see today, really. So it started off as a joke, and then it just got out of hand. And 17 years later, I'm still doing it here, and it's just grown and grown and grown in that time. So that's how it's all started with me. And with food, I mean, like my dad used to go out eating a lot of curries when he was younger. So he used to go out eating at the Taj Mahal in Cambridge in the 70s and the 80s. He loved a spicy curry, and I kind of grew up around his attitudes of like, yeah, have a good spicy curry and a beer and all that kind of stuff. And that's where it all come from. So, you know, my kind of relationship with food started with that kind of thing, really. It's almost like a British rite of passage when you get to become a teenager. You go out drinking beer and you have a spicy curry with it, and that's how it went. It kind of almost came with the drinking, so to speak, and then it all started from there and just kind of went on, and now it's expanded into all sorts of different types of food, and now I'm just into everything. So that's where it really started with me. So it sounds like
it sounds like you got a real passion for curry, which I do as well.
Yes.
So my question is this: what's your favorite type of curry to eat?
You can't say. You can't ask a
No, you
question like
can, you
that.
can, you can, you can, you can, you can, you can, you can. We're doing this right now.
All right.
We're doing
If
this.
I'm feeling sorry for myself and I'm down in the dumps, I always turn to the same dish every single time. I go for my chicken or lamb tikka vindaloo, sagaloo on the side, and mushroom rice. That's my cheer me up dish, and I like it hot, spicy, and nice and creamy as well.
Okay,
That's
say
my
no
dish.
more. Okay. So if you had to pick between Indian food and Italian food, which one do you pick?
Oh, see, the thing is, Italian
No,
food.
there's no thing is. There is no thing is. There's only a choice here, man.
I've learned a
Answer
lot about
first.
Italian food over the years.
Answer
You see,
first.
since
Answer
I've done the
first.
Cambridge Foodies, I've learned a lot, and I think
Draw your line in the sand, man.
it's Indian food. It's Indian food.
There we go. Okay. There we go. There we go. There we
Oh,
go.
but that's
So
a hard one. I mean, a couple of years ago, I would have just said Indian food, but now I've learned a lot from the Cambridge Foodies, and I've experienced more Italian food. It's close because I've really dived deep into Italian food now, and I've learned a lot more about it.
So what's your favorite Italian dish now? What's your favorite Italian dish?
anything with duya on it. I love duya, the
Anything with
spicy pork.
indulgence. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that.
Yes, love that
So
stuff. I like the stuff that slaps you around the face. Spicy stuff.
okay, so let me ask you a question then. You got like, and I'm not gonna say risotto, pizza. You put your pizza on. So your go-to Italian dish would be what? Would it be pizza, pasta, or risotto?
It'd have to. I think pasta. It's just so versatile. You can do so much with it.
I agree.
I think you can turn it into anything you like. And good pasta, like you have to use the good pasta. I think it's untouchable. But
Okay.
I eat pizza more because it's practical and it's cheap, quite cheap actually.
So if you're ordering something to take out then to eat at home, are you gonna go for pizza or are you gonna go for Chinese food or are you gonna go Indian?
Oh, Indian, 9 times out of 10. Ask
Really?
my wife every time she asks me what you want for takeaway. She knows already that I'm going to go Indian food. That's it. So she stops asking me.
So you prefer so your preferred carb, your preferred carbohydrate, what is it? Is it okay? Let me draw the list for you.
Rice.
Potatoes, pasta, rice. Your rice, man. Me as well. Are you sure about this? Are you sure?
Yeah. It's the perfect foundation. It soaks up the sauce. It's versatile. You can do so many things with it. So when I used to work in care work, I used to work in the care homes with a lot of African people, and they used to teach me how to cook with rice. And they taught me how to like make amazing rice dishes with just things that were left around in the kitchen, like fried rice and things like that. And I'd be eating rice all the time. They were remarkable people. They just knew how to get something out of nothing in the fridge. It was incredible. Taught me a lot of cooking skills. And it was always with rice. Rice just goes with everything, and it complements any dish, doesn't it?
I agree. Look, I agree entirely, and I have my own personal answers, and I'm totally playing devil's advocate here because anyone could make the argument for potatoes. I agree. Yeah. Potatoes or rice. I think. Okay, so which one's more versatile, potatoes or rice? Yeah, you're thinking.
Potatoes you can do a lot with. Like you can have them whole, you can deconstruct them, you can mash them and stuff like that. Rice is always just going to be rice, and you add stuff on rice. It's a better base rice, but potatoes are more versatile, I think.
And I'll tell you why. I am definitely married to rice, but you can. It's difficult to get potatoes wrong. You can get rice so wrong, man.
Oh God, I really did that today. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than bad rice, yo. Bad rice just changes your week. Like a bad rice dish can change your week, especially if you had something good plans with this rice. And that's the thing. Most people, and I'm talking about chefs, 90% of chefs that I've worked with cannot cook rice. They can cook risotto, but they can't cook rice. They might be able to cook paella, but they can't steam rice. And it's like
the worst you can get with a potato is just needing to put it back in a bit longer. That's the worst you'll get with it. Rice, it goes stodgy and you've ruined it.
Ruin it. You can't fix it. You cannot fix bad rice. Like you said, you can fix. And that's the thing. A lot of times rice is a lot like baking. Once you set it, you can't touch it, man.
Yeah.
I've seen people stir rice And I'm like, red flag. You're toxic, yo. Anybody that stirs rice, I don't trust you. I don't trust you if you stir rice while it's cooking. Don't do it, man. You gotta know what you're doing.
Just
Measure the
leave it.
rice.
Yeah, I
Leave
hear
it
you.
alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So
I'm sitting here.
go ahead.
No, so I'm sitting here scratching my head, kind of going, how have you turned this interview around onto me? Like, why are you asking me the questions? How have you done that?
Like I said, it's poetry, man. It's poetry. You know, it's a mutual exchange. It's mutual exchange. And I think that's the thing. I'm more interested in having the conversation about food.
Yes.
Than to actually have a conversation about anything else. Like me, I'm the boring part. Food is the interesting part where we share. Because look at it. We are both having this connection on things that we love. Rice.
Yes.
And I haven't even, and to be honest with you, recently I've grown an appreciation for noodles, but not necessarily in the European style, being Italian noodles like pasta. I think that, and I'm willing to die on this, I think the best noodles on earth come from East Asia and not Italy. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, anytime I have noodles, it's Korean noodles. It's mostly Korean. They like it spicy. Yeah, it's always
nice bit of gochujang. Nice bit of gochujang, samjang, some fish sauce, like spring onions. I love these things.
Beautiful.
I'm like saying, and I get it. And as much as I love Italian food, right? It's just not creative enough. It's just not creative. And I say that with all due respect, but I think that their commitment to tradition is what's kind of, you know, because it's like you said, man, they would never put Nduja in their bolognese. And I know that would be fire. I know that would be so good. Like if I was in the kitchen, I'm like,
so good. And you know what? I've done it before.
And it was probably banging, yo. It's probably
it was good. It was really, really bad for me, but it was good.
Yo,
it was so bad for me.
No, it's not. No such thing as so bad for you, man. No such thing as so bad for you. No such thing as so bad for you. No such thing. No such thing. So where's your favorite place to eat in Cambridge, man? And except the Burleigh Arms, of course.
Oh, how did you know I was going to say that? I think if you were to hold a gun to my head and said it was only, you know, your personal taste and not the best, it would probably be Taj Tandoori. The Taj Tandoori, they do Bangladeshi Indian cuisine, but they also experiment with a lot of fusion food. So they'll do things like the Bangladeshi roast dinner, and they'll do a Bangladeshi style burger. And I just love that because it's spicy, it's hot, it's fun, it's experimental. And I love Jalal and Saeed, the team behind the restaurant as well. They always make you feel so warm and welcoming. They're so friendly. They're like you. They like to connect with the people. It feels like home. You know?
I got a lot of time with Saeed as well, man. I met Saeed one day randomly at a cafe next door to my house. And he was like, hey, yo, you're the guy that posts the reviews in Cambridge Foodies. I kid you not. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he's like, oh, yeah, you went to Indian Ocean. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, okay, I own a little curry shop myself, you know, a little curry spot. He's quite humble about it.
And he'll recognise your face a mile off. He'll see you. He'll meet you once, and he'll recognise you forever. He's old school. You know, he's great.
I agree. I got so much time for him as well. What about cafes? Are you a fan of cafes?
I think the problem with me is I only ever get time to go out and do reviews in the evenings. The cafes often escape me somewhat, so I do struggle to get to them a lot of the time. But I suppose I was at Hot Numbers yesterday in Sheproof, and that's a pretty good one. They go quite scientific with their coffee. They get their kind of like brewers and they plug laptops into them to kind of measure all the temperatures of the beans and stuff. They go proper scientific with it, and I always respect things like that when you have that kind of dedication to getting your coffee right. So I think Hot Numbers is in Sheproof probably my favourite, but I'm not very experienced with cafes. That's more my sister's domain. So,
but you know, so what I'm saying to myself, what I've realized about cafes recently, because I don't know how it happened, but I became a cafe aficionado within recent years. I go there religiously. I sit down, I meet the people, I talk, I have my go-to things, and I'm like, yo, are cafes pubs but for people who read? Like, it's the same thing, man.
Yeah,
it is. You got your local cafe. Yeah. I have my local, and I can't cheat on my local cafe. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
feel bad if I go
you
somewhere
feel
else.
dirty, don't you?
I feel like I'm having an affair if I go to another cafe. I would hate it. And it's like,
I think you're onto something there. Yeah, I think my
yo,
sister, she has a book Instagram page where she reviews books. It's called Library of Natalie. You might see a little comment there, a little message below. And
okay.
she's a reader, and she's cafe mad. She goes to all these different cafes, cafe over here, cafe over there, and she's reading books. So there's obviously a connection there. It's the intellectual thinking person's version of the pub, isn't it? You know, it's
I
the
mean, I
culture.
think it's great, but I do think that it's an underexplored culture, and especially when you speak about an extension of the dining scene, because it's the daytime dining scene, it's the morning dining scene.
Yeah. And
Like
I
we
never
think
get
about
there. Yeah.
yeah, well, most people don't, but a lot of people don't get to the pub. So I
Have you
do
tried
think that
Cafe Foy?
yes, I have. I have tried Cafe Foy. Yeah, I got a lot
Cafe
of time
Foy
for
is a good
Cafe.
one.
I like Stir as well. Stir was cool. I had a lot of time for Stir. There's one that's open on Chesterton Road, Coffin. I'm going to try that out. Aikman Street. Like low key, right? I am actually a bit of a cafe aficionado. I don't know when this happened, yo. Like if I
You've just
find a nice
realised now.
cafe, it creeps up on you. It creeps up on you, and I'm like, and the funny thing is this, right? And you know when I realized this last week, I ordered an Americano. And then Julia, she's like, "Oh, you're having an Americano?" No, I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I am." And I'm like saying I'm trying new things, and I'm like, I sipped my first Americano, and I'm like, "Yeah, this tastes as bad as it looks, yo." And I had another one, and I hate coffee, yo. I don't know what it is about, coffee is a lot like wine, right? People
Yeah.
only act as if it tastes good, yo. Wine doesn't taste good,
No, I
and
love coffee. Sorry, I love
coffee
coffee.
tastes good, Simon. Simon, coffee really tastes
Yeah,
good.
strong,
Describe what
bitter, sour. I love it.
strong, bitter, sour, yo. You wouldn't date a good. Yo, imagine if you were describing your partner with those words.
Oh,
You know, no, man. Yo, listen, and you're speaking to someone who drinks coffee every day, and I'm just caught up in the hype. And I admit, I'm like, it got me. The marketing, everything. Oh wow, you put sugar in coffee. Is that a fact?
I do. I do. Yeah, but
Oh,
I'll
okay.
tell you
So
what
do
though.
you
I agree
really?
with you. I agree with you about the hype, actually. So I love coffee, right? I do, even though my wife's trying to rad me out right now. But what I will
Yo,
say is this whole, oh, this coffee's better than this coffee. 9 times out of 10, I can't tell the difference. If I go to different chains or different small independent coffee places, I very rarely tell the difference of the coffees. So I put sugar in it mostly because I can't tell the difference either way anyway. So I just
I
go, well, I'll
don't.
add a bit of
Hey,
sweet to it.
and shout out to Manasol Cambridge, man. Best Korean hot dogs on the planet. You know what I'm saying? I met them
Yeah,
at
man.
Trinity one evening, and we've always been cool and connected. Another extension of just great people gravitating towards each other. And but to not diverge from what you were saying about coffee, right? I am not sure anyone really likes coffee. It's a lot like the first time you had beer. You had to learn to like it. The first
Yeah,
time
you
you
have to
had
learn to
beer,
like beer.
you're like,
Yeah.
it looks so cold and refreshing. I'm like, I'm going to love this. And then you sip it and you're like,
Oh,
mm, mm. And then you're just not sure. You're just not sure what it is, but you pretend to like it. You go through, and everyone likes it. You like that? Yeah, yeah. It's like,
no, I'm
hey,
sorry. I love coffee, but I just can't tell the difference between the good stuff and the bad stuff. That's my
neither
stance on it.
can I. So Bowl Brothers, again, I told you I've had coffee everywhere.
Mm.
Bowl Brothers, I'm not sure, and they got a great brand. They always have a queue out the door, and when I had their coffee the first time, I was just like, oh, so this is really good coffee, because I'm like, it's really sour. I didn't understand it, man. I didn't
I
understand
like
what.
that though. I like that sour, punchy taste. I like that. It's like almost having a lemon sherbet. It's like, oh, it hits you in the right
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
You
but this
know?
is the thing. Coffee should not be compared to lemon sherbet. It should
No,
not
this.
be. We should, but it
I'm not
does. It
saying
does.
it's
It
the
does.
same.
It's like it does. It does. It does. It does. It does. It does. It's like tamarind, It's very acidic. It's very acidic. You see, I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to say what someone just said about Bowl Brothers there. I wasn't
That's
sure
my
if I
sister.
just did. I wasn't sure if I just didn't know what good coffee was, but I was like, it's a bit sour for me. It's a bit sour. And then there's a new, like I said, man, somehow I've just turned into a bit of an evangelist and an explorer when it
Try
comes
the
to
Brew
coffee.
Project. The Brew
Where's
Project. I had them. I went to a restaurant in St Ives called the Taps, where I had one of the best breakfasts I think I've ever had. But their coffee was from the Brew Project, based in Ely, and it was so good. I actually noticed the difference. I was like, "Whoa!" My one remaining taste bud from years of Vindaloo actually
oh,
tasted this. I'm like, "Whoa!" It was amazing. And I've been, every time I pass there now, I try and pop in and have one. So keep an eye out for the Brew Project.
what do you have for breakfast, Simon? What's the best thing for breakfast? What
I
is
have a really
Simon?
experimental muesli. So I buy muesli and then I mix all these nuts and grains and stuff together. I get a bit scientific with it. I've got like Brazil nuts in there and
Oh,
Chilean raisins in there and stuff. I spend a fortune on muesli.
really?
Yeah, what about you? What
And
do you start with?
well, first of all, I'm not a breakfast guy. However, if I was
Right.
to be a breakfast guy, it would definitely be porridge, man. I love a bit of porridge.
Yeah, it's a good one. I eat
I
that
love a bit
sometimes.
of porridge. I love a bit of porridge. And I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily as much of a bacon and eggs type of guy for breakfast, just
No,
because
I'm not.
no, eggs don't do enough for me, man. I have to eat like 8 of them to really get anywhere, Like I see
I'll have them
people
for
that
lunch. I'll do them for
what
lunch
eggs?
and I'll have about 4. Yeah.
Okay, exactly, right? What's your favorite egg preparation then?
Oh, poached. I just do it health-wise, really, just to keep the
You
calories low. You've got to
poached
mitigate
egg.
all the reviews, you see. If I'm eating out every night, I've got to mitigate it and keep it healthy. So I have to eat muesli and poach eggs, you see. How do you have yours then? Do you fry them or scramble them or?
I scrambled it cool. I like a boiled egg. Listen, and this is one of the things. So obviously, me being when I migrated to this country, and you're talking about 15 years ago, when the thing to do to be a chef, like, was to poach an egg and put it on something. And I'm like,
Is that
yeah,
it?
yo, that was it, yo. That was it. That was it. That was it. That was it. If you want to be a real chef, poach an egg and put it on top of that. So I'm like, what? On top of these lentils? I was like, yeah, man, you're a chef now. So I saw people putting poached eggs on all kind of weird things, and then I tried a poached egg myself, and I'm like, this is horrible, yo. I could never get my head around poached eggs. Probably the top 3 were, like, in terms of egg preparations, definitely bottom 3. Definitely bottom 3. Somewhere around, like, what's that one where they bake it in tomato sauce? Shakshuka or whatever it's
Oh,
called.
yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
what? You don't like that, Simon?
Not
Simon,
a
you're
big
not a
fan.
fan? Yo,
No, no.
I cannot stand that preparation. And it was
Yeah,
really cool for a while when everyone was just doing it just to look super healthy. And I'm like, you
yeah.
guys know that doesn't taste good, man. And it's literally just tinned tomatoes. They weren't even like reducing. There was no garlic in them tomatoes. It just was something that looked cool, man. That's one of the things we should do one of these days, Simon. Let's talk about
What's
the
that?
food we don't like. We're going to talk about the
That's
food we
a good
don't.
one. Controversial, though. But I
No
like a
one,
bit of
but it's a
controversy.
fact. It's a fact. No one talks about things they don't like samphire.
Well, we try to keep things positive, you see. It's very easy to kind of write a positive review about a restaurant, for example, or a food, but saying something negative, you open yourself up to
Yeah,
criticism
but
and tearing businesses down in a hard
no,
economic
no, no,
time. We've got to
no.
be careful,
Hey,
you
hey,
see.
hey, hey, saying something
Mm.
you don't like, and you're talking about a type of food, right? So if you said to me
Yeah,
you don't like rye bread, no one's going to come for you. The rye community is not going to pull out the pitchforks.
the
When
Roy
last you
police.
seen them?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when last you seen them? You're good, man. It's okay to not like certain things in terms of food. Like,
Mashed
what, mashed
potatoes
potatoes is
overrated.
overrated.
Oh,
No, man.
no,
Wow.
no.
No, that you're
And
on
now
your
you're
own there.
there.
You're
Can you
on your
believe
own there. You're on your 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 own. Mashed potatoes is probably one of the top 5 potato preparations. And I would go as far as to say mashed potatoes taste better than chunky chips. Or I think so. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it depends on the
Definitely.
mood for me. Yeah, it depends on the mood for me, but I definitely think that they can hit better. I
No,
think.
they do. They do. Not can. They do. Especially if you make that mashed potato the right way. I do have a
Mm.
I do have a disproportionate dislike for like that high buttery mashed potato that everyone does, palm puree. I don't get that one. I'm like saying I like my mashed potato to actually have a little bit of structure to it, and not 60% butter. I don't
It
like
says
that.
here, Natalie says, "What's your biggest cooking mistakes?"
Oh boy, my biggest cooking mistake was one time I was like just starting out and I tried to, when I was super creative and more ambitious than before, and I said to myself, okay, there was one time when I tried to make this curry and I wanted to curry tofu and I figured I'd get the sweetness from cherries. So I used these cherries in syrup, and I made this glow-in-the-dark tofu that I swear to God named itself. It was sentient. I couldn't stand it. It moved when you left it alone. And my second biggest cooking mistake was one time some friends of mine in Antigua, they were gonna slow roast a pig and they were gonna barbecue it. And I was like, yeah, I'm like saying, and they had one of the guys, his uncle was a chef, right? So I'm like telling him, yo, your uncle ain't a real chef like me, bro. Let me barbecue the pig.
Oh man.
So eventually, long story short, I convinced him to tell his uncle to go do one, respectfully. His uncle, and I'm there, and he's like, yo, you sure you haven't done this before? I'm like, yo, trust me, man. And I was only a cook for like 2 years, but I'd seen somebody barbecue a pig underground in Hawaii on a small segment on Discovery Channel, like 10 minutes. So I'm like, I got this. How hard could this be? So I seasoned the pig beautifully, chopped it on the ground, put some fire on top, poked it a couple of times, and said, now we wait. Right? So about 4 hours later, I tell them, guys, this is going to take hours. So, you know, go out, exercise, run on the beach, play sports. We're good. Everyone's there hungry as hell. And at the end of the day, when it's time for me to take the pig out the ground, my first red flag was the sand is cold. Shouldn't be like that.
It's always another people you're trying to impress, isn't it?
Oh man. Anyway, so everyone's there wrong, waiting for the aha moment. I unwrap this pig and the pig looks at me. I'm like, this shit's still alive, yo. I'm like, how did this happen? Anyway, the pig is raw. Everyone is disappointed, and this guy runs off calling his uncle to tell him the story, man. I was heartbroken.
I knew that was going to happen. Something terrible. I could just see it.
Man, that was so embarrassing, yo. That was so embarrassing. That was a fail.
Happens to the best of us, doesn't it? It happens to the best of us.
It looked so easy on Discovery Channel, though. It looked so easy on Discovery Channel. Like, how hard can it be to barbecue?
I could do that.
How hard can it be to barbecue?
How many times have we done that, though? Yeah. Oh. Can I just bring up your book? Because we mentioned it briefly, but I think it deserves a bit more attention, actually, because I've ordered the book. I know a few other people in the comments have ordered the book, and they've all loved it. It even smells nice. I don't know if that's just my book, but it smells almost herby, or like, I don't know, there's like a freshness to it. Even the book's delicious. But
see, there you go.
How's the book being received? How have you found it so far? Have people been enjoying it? I mean, from what I've heard, people have been.
You know what? The first thing that people say about that book to me is, and I haven't really understood how to take that. They're like, wow, this is a nice book. And they sound surprised. You know, so I'm like, whoa, what did you guys expect? I think some of them were expecting a book where they would have to color in it, or it wouldn't. I don't know what they expected, but generally people have been impressed, particularly with like you said, the photography, the composition, the honesty, the storytelling, and just overall my transparency. And they feel the effort, and they see that it's a part of a narrative and a journey. And I have yet to. Everyone has been so supportive.
I've just seen a comment here. Avik says the best book, the chicken gizzard pasta, 100%. So there's another comment there. Avik knows cooking as well. He owns, I think, is it the Pike and Eel, Avik, you own?
Yes, Avik.
Yeah.
Avik's a good friend of mine. Avik is a great chef as well. I've worked with him in the kitchen a couple of times. Really, really good attitude. To be honest, I tried to get him to come and work with me once before, but you know, Avik is a man that's going to follow a very, very, very prosperous path of his own, man.
He's got a good spot there. It's a beautiful pub, beautiful location. I've reviewed the place twice. Both times it's been unanimously positive. The food's fantastic. I think if Sean's still on the comments, I'm not sure he's still with us, but he came the first time and I was so full I couldn't even make it to my car. He needed to hold me up a little bit. I've never been so full in my life when we went with him. So he does great work, and to get praise from him obviously speaks for itself, doesn't it? But the book, absolutely love it. We touched on the photography, and I love the colours of it. It very matches your food, I think. But
thank you.
You know, it's great to learn a bit about yourself in it and your journey. I mean, we've touched on a lot of this in the chat already. You know, your roots and, you know, coming over here, Midsummer House, the punter, where you used to work, which is often not mentioned enough. But I did have a bash at your chicken curry. I think it might have been a vindaloo or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just what I'm wanting to hear. I can't remember now. I think it was some sort of curry dish.
It was a
that I
chicken
tried,
curry.
and it was a chicken curry. Was it just called a chicken curry?
That was probably the one at the beginning, right? Just the chicken curry on its own.
Yeah, it wasn't the korma, but what I
No.
was really pleased about was how kind of accessible a lot of the recipes were in it. So, I mean, I did have to look up a few of the ingredients outside of a supermarket, which gave me a reassuring sign of quality there. Because if you could just pick everything up at the supermarket, you're a bit like, but most of it you could get from there. And what I was able to create from the book was actually quite remarkable, and the family loved it. They really enjoyed the food, and I was really pleased to see that you cook curry the same way I do when I'm at home. So I got a lot of advice from people from the Indian and Bangladeshi restaurants cooking curries, and I'd cook it similar to them. And just to see that you do it the same obviously shows me that I'm on the right track.
Well, no, you absolutely are. But this is the thing. So curry is something that I think connects more of us than would like to imagine. Because for one, when you look at the journey of curry from the subcontinent hundreds of years ago in the interpretation through the Portuguese, through the British naval system, and brought to the Caribbean. Yeah, no, very important part, and then brought to the Caribbean as well, you know, so we share that as a common bond, which is why, in a lot of reasons, that's why the book itself is named Cassava and Cardamom, because cassava is a root vegetable on my island that's quite synonymous with our local diet, and the cardamom represents not only the spice that I like to incorporate into my food, but it's the journey that cardamom has taken around the world, and something that travels well as well. When you think about it, spices travel, and my book is almost an extension of my life and travels, and from where it starts with memory. So you start with the dishes I grew up eating, and then we travel through my journey progressively, and you see little elements, and I try to really tone this book down to be a more deliberate extension of my Caribbean culinary identity, my affinity for Indian food, and a lot of it has to do with the training that I had in the UK. Because I as much as I learned how to eat in the Caribbean, I have to say I learned how to cook in the UK. I really learned my skill set. I trained in the UK professionally. My development happened here at an exponential rate. I owe a lot to the training grounds of the UK as a chef, man.
Yeah, and you mentioned roots there, and actually I think, you know, curry's become such a popular UK. I think the chicken tikka masala, even to this day, is still the most widely eaten dish in the country. Yeah, and it's just one of those great immigration success stories that doesn't get talked enough about, really. You know, the British people have adopted it as their own. It's almost as British as the post office, you know, or complaining about the weather. Yeah,
like I said,
it's remarkable, and it's not even a British.
Curry didn't, and curry powder, as it doesn't exist. So as we know, curry powder, the way we interpret it, doesn't exist in India. They have masalas, but the curry powder that was brought to my island in Antigua, or most of the islands in the Caribbean, the masala was a Madras masala, which is a very specific masala. Yo, it's the best masala. Like, so I'm saying, at least they brought the best masala, because I'll be honest with you, as much as I like garam masala and chat masala, they're just not nearly as versatile as a good Madras masala, man. And I like to make my own masalas, and I learned how to do that. But in a pinch, and especially for accessibility purposes, a really good Madras masala can do so much for you if you just follow the right processes of burning your curry, using the right amount of onions, garlic, tomatoes, simmering, and you can refine as well, like I said. So one of the things that I specified in the book was, hey, look, curry your chicken, remove your chicken, blend your curry sauce, and add it back, yo. It's such a different experience.
Oh my
just to
God,
refine
it did make a difference. It's a bit of faff, but actually it's worth it. You see the result at the end. You actually look back and go, yeah, that's something I'd do again.
It's so nice. And I'll even tell you further. So what I do is I condition you for how I make my sauces at work. So one of my better dishes that I've done in the past, like if I'm doing a refined curry dish at work, I'll curry the chicken in whatever capacity, and then I'd blend the sauce. But then once that sauce has been blended, I would reduce that sauce with a nice chicken stock and then glace it and finish it with some butter at the end, and then strain it again and emulsify it, and then it is so luxurious and rich at that point. And it's a gravy. It's nothing like that it's just a curry sauce. It's a very refined, flavorfully potent, just a decadent affair and engagement. And to me personally, 9 out of 10 times, if I have to impress someone with a dish, I'll cook them a curry. 9 out of 10
it's
times.
so versatile. Everyone loves, especially in the UK. It's just a safe bet, isn't it? I mean,
I think on Earth. I think that time is coming. I think that time is coming. So when we spoke about cultures that have been accepted and dining cultures that have been thrust into the public eye and they've been like trending, I think Indian food or subcontinental food, because it's difficult to distinguish within reason and within fairness between Sri Lankan, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, and Indian food. I think that little subcontinental contribution to the culinary dining scene, which is quite diverse. I do not want to be the one to reduce it. I'm not going to reduce it to it being similar. I mean, damn, I got books here from Sri Lanka, books there from India, thick books from India, thin books from India, vegetarian book. I know that it's quite the way that you cook in Kashmir is not the same way that you cook in Karelia.
I'm quite a fan of the Hyderabadi biryanis as well. They're one of my favourites. That's just the city in India.
So now this is it. So when it comes to biryani, right, I'm torn because the real biryani you bake, right? But I've seen a lot of really good biryanis that you don't bake, man. There are a lot of really good biryanis that you don't have to bake, and I think biryani is when we speak about the hierarchy of rice dishes.
We've got to do one of those.
Okay, let's finish on that. What dish goes at the top? Is it fried rice? Is it biryani, or is it risotto, or paella? Really?
Paella or biryani at the top. Yeah. On holiday, a paella hits just right.
That's the thing, right?
Biryani. No, biryani top.
Biryani, and guys, I love a biryani as much as anyone, right? But is it really better than a perfect arancini? I've made epic arancinis in my life, and I think risotto, man. And risotto can be so good when done right. It's like risotto can be so good when done right. And I get it. A biryani can be so good as well. But if you want something that's just a decadent experience, that's the thing. I don't think biryani can be as decadent as a risotto. A biryani can be more satisfying. It can be more satisfying. It can be more satisfying, definitely. But in terms of just something that when you bite into it, you close your eyes, that's a sign, man. You're not going to close your eyes with the first bite of biryani. But if you eat a perfect spoon of risotto, you're closing your eyes, man. You are closing your eyes. You are closing your eyes.
What I would say is with food, I let my emotions guide me with food. I don't go too technical with it if I can. So I think about what would excite me most if someone asked me if I wanted to eat it, and it would be biryani. A risotto can be very, very good, but they can also be a bit flat. So I think biryani for me is a more consistent dish, and I associate it with going out, and it's a lively, fiery. It could be quite fiery as well, and you're getting the chicken bone, and you do a dum biryani, and it's pressurized, and it looks dry, but you eat it and it's not.
No, it's not.
I think the biryani excites me the most.
So you think a biryani is better than a really good fried rice then?
Huge apologies for the abrupt ending to that video. Instagram decided spontaneously to cut us off after 70 minutes with no warning. But I just wanted to thank Kareem Roberts for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure getting to know him a bit more and having a chat about all the different subjects that are on your minds. Thank you to everyone who commented. It was a real good chat. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the second event, which we will not be running on Facebook because that was an absolute nightmare. But thank you to Instagram for being quick and easy to manage. We clicked a button, added a person, and off we go. It was that simple. But Facebook, whew, that platform needs some work. But anyway, don't forget to buy Kareem Roberts' book, Cassava and Cardamom. It's a great book, a great read. As we've said in the interview, it's full of great illustrations, great recipes, and definitely worth your time. So make sure you look that up online. It's a great read. Thank you very much for joining us, and stay tuned for event number 2. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.